Okay, it is 4:45 or so in the morning, and up early because it's the last morning I have here in Tokyo. Japan's on this time zone where sunrise is really, really early. So sunrise is like 5:45 in the morning. So yeah, up early, and I'm heading to a place called Hirabashi Bridge, I believe. Maybe I said that wrong. Hijirabashi, I think that's right. And yeah, it's a pretty good spot for sunrise, so that's where I'm headed. Just had a bit of a fail. Google said that there was a train and the train station's closed until 5:45. So obviously there's no train. So I couldn't get to my location. I realized it's probably because it's a Sunday, and instead I'm wandering around Shinjuku Station trying to find another photo in the dark. The thing about Japan is it feels like no matter where you end up, there's a photo. And in the right conditions, I actually think there are a couple really cool photos here. Right now though, without trains, people, or light, it's a bit boring. Okay, so that was a bit of a fail, but to be honest, it would have been a fail at the bridge anyway because it's Sunday. And so there wouldn't be any trains. I actually think this location was pretty cool and would be really nice at sunset with a lot of people hanging around and a lot of trains moving. But yeah, it just didn't work this morning, and there was no light either. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But at life, I'm going to continue winning because I'm heading to Fuji now. So I'm going to hop on one of these buses and head to Fuji for a couple nights. I really like Tokyo, but I love the parts of Japan that aren't Tokyo. So I've been itching to get out of the big city and see some of the countryside and nature that's just so underrated in Japan. The bus whisks me from the concrete jungle into the actual forest and to the foot of one of the most impressive peaks on the planet, Mount Fuji. Okay, so we made it to Kawaguchiko. It is back there, Fuji. Back up there. It's kind of in the clouds right now. When I got here, it was like pretty clear, and then there was like a sombrero on the mountain, and it looked like it was going to be awesome at sunset tonight. But now there's a lot of heavy cloud that's rolled in, so I don't think it's going to be great. But I'm still out, you know, hoping to do some location scouting and maybe getting a photo. Hoping that somehow the light still kicks off. So I'm gonna hike across the bridge and find a photo. Okay, so I'm at the other side of the lake. Fuji is just straight across. I photographed the last time I was here from this beach, and I got these boats in my frame, and I actually really like my photo that I got here. And one of the things I kind of end up doing sometimes is when I take a photo that I really like, I go back and I do it again. But I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to be like, okay, I made that cool photo already, let's explore, try to find something else. I'm trying to get better at that. So even though that's an easy photo I know I can make and can share, I'm instead going to walk farther and farther along the coastline here and see if there's a new angle and a new composition I can come up with. I don't think I'm going to get any sort of sunset light tonight because there's a ton of clouds on the horizon. So I actually think that the best light's probably now, or at least over the next 30 minutes before sunset. So maybe have to find something quick. So basically, as soon as I got to the lakefront, I saw these pillars way off in the distance, and I thought that was probably a pretty good place for sunset. I've gotten here and they're a little bit too close to the edge of the shore. And the reason that's a problem is because Fuji is really far away. They're very close. And so I have to go wide, and the wider you get, the flatter the landscape looks, and it doesn't look as impressive. But that being said, I'm like a little bit worried I'm not gonna get a photo. So I think I'm gonna try it anyway. I think I'm going to go maybe 35 millimeters here and use these pillars and have, yeah, Fuji in the background. I guess in theory I could go longer, back up a little bit farther and have less of the pillars. I don't know. So I don't know if I love or hate what I'm doing right now. But no, hate's the wrong word. I don't know if I love what I'm doing right now or I'm just okay with it. Hate is a strong word. Basically, the light's not dramatic, but it's nice. It's soft, it's contrasty, there's some beautiful clouds in the sky, and I want to make this feel more artistic and more beautiful. I want it to feel more painterly than it is right now. And so what I'm doing is I'm kind of playing with the long exposures on it. I have a 10-stop ND on, which is bringing me to a full minute exposure at f/16. And then I also have a 4-stop medium grad on because it's really bright on Fuji, but the lake is all in shadow already. So I'm trying to balance that out. And by doing this really long exposure, you get this silky smooth water, and then you get these clouds in motion up top, and they actually seem to absorb more light and look a little bit more colorful and more dramatic. So I'm not sure if I like it or not. The reason I'm not sure I like it is because there's one pillar that's tall and it kind of gets into the frame a little bit more than I would like. And I haven't found a way to make it work perfectly compositionally yet. But yeah, the sun's still hitting the mountain, so maybe I'll get lucky after all. So I went into my camera bag to change lenses, and I realized I have snacks. I bought Japanese snacks at 7-Eleven this morning before leaving. This one made me laugh because it says from Canada, Canadian, and it's something you would never ever find in Canada. It says maple butter on it. So obviously we have maple, but then what it says it is mini asparagus biscuits. So let's try one of these. Huh. Try not to create rubbish. Mini asparagus biscuits with maple butter? Okay, so they just look like little crackers. No, it tastes like maple syrup, like cereal. How is this asparagus? Maybe because of the design? I don't think there's anything asparagus about this. Those are pretty good. And the next thing is, oh, I get these a lot. I'm not actually sure what they're called though. Daifuku, smooth red bean paste balls. They're like red bean paste. I don't know what you would call them. I don't know, they're like dumplings? I can't open this, I'm hungry. Okay. But these are delicious. The texture is something we just don't get in North America though. It's like uncooked dough. And then it's full of red bean paste. Which again is something we just don't get in Europe. And they're so good. I love these. Okay, snack time's over. Back to photography. Oh, maybe one more. Wow. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm at my happiest with a bag of candy, my camera, and a cool landscape. So yeah, life is good. And I think the photo is good too. And after some shut-eye, I'm out looking for another view of Fuji. Okay, so yesterday went better than I thought, although I'm a little bit worried my images aren't sharp because I forgot to turn the image stabilizer off on my lens. And with a longer exposure, sometimes you get some vibrations. So I hope that's not the case, because I was pretty happy with the way things came out yesterday. Not perfect light, but really good light. And I'm up again this morning. I'm walking out pretty close to where my accommodation is, to this little like island. I was hoping to get reflections of Fuji because it's really clear, but the wind has picked up, so I'm not sure that's going to happen. But
it's spring in Japan, but how it went from warm last week to cold this week makes it feel like fall is upon me.
whew, it's crisp this morning. It's like -1 degree. There's frost warnings. It's cold, and the wind is definitely chilly. So this little island is cool, but the problem is the housing on the other side is either this big hotel or the local houses, and there's a bunch of boats in the foreground, and it kind of just looks really messy. When you think of Fuji, you think of nature, and instead you have a bit of a messy scene of houses and boats. So I'm not loving it. There's one spot back that way that has rocks in the foreground, Fuji in between the houses and hotel, and it kind of looks okay. Or my other idea is to just embrace the mess, and you have some fishing nets right here, and I thought maybe use the fishing nets as a foreground and just, embrace the reality of it. It's a messy scene in a fishing village at the shores below Mount Fuji. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so the sun's up and hitting Fuji, but unfortunately there's no clouds. And we didn't get like alpenglow, we didn't get any really red glow on Fuji. It kind of just went straight to bright light. So not ideal, but still not a bad photo. I've switched on, I have a 6-stop ND and 4-stop medium grad ND, and kind of the balance of this image is in two pieces. I balanced the top half of the image by putting Fuji right smack in the middle, left to right. And then the bottom half is balanced with the fishnets on the right and then these rocks on the left. So it has a pretty nice balance, and I actually really like the composition of it. I've embraced the messy nature of things, but I think the composition's actually pretty clean and organized. So I'm happy with my composition. I'm actually happy with the image. It's 20 seconds f16, and yeah, with some clouds it would be nice and dramatic and awesome, but as it is, it's still kind of okay.
This is definitely one of those images I like much better now that I've seen the finished product. If yesterday's image was clean and crisp, this one is balanced and tells a story.
Okay, so it's gotten really cold and windy, and I actually had some misadventure here. I tried to get a taxi to the temple, which is one of the pagoda, Chureito Pagoda I think it's called, which is one of the most classic iconic photo spots, but no taxis will operate before 5:30 in the morning here. So you can't get up for sunrise unless you walk, and it's like an hour and a half from my hotel. So I'm gonna try sunset here instead, which is totally counter to what I would normally do when planning, because it's just totally backlit. It's also blue skies, so it might be a terrible idea. You also can't use tripods here. So yeah, we'll see if this works, but we got about 400 steps to climb up to the pagoda and the view.
This location went from being a casual photo spot known mostly to photographers to one of the most popular viewpoints of Fuji. There's a new boardwalk, lots of people, but the same epic view and photo ops.
Okay, I didn't really record too much up there because it was busy and the light wasn't spectacular, but it did kind of still work. There was a moment where there was a sun star maybe. And then as the sun was down on the horizon, there was a little bit of red light on Fuji that looked kind of cool. But with the backlight, it was really hard to get a good exposure. So we'll see if I'll be able to bring something out in the edit there. I actually think on like a somewhat cloudy day, it'd be really cool to be up there in the evening and blue hour. So I'm actually back in 10 days and I might give that a shot. And yeah, I'm gonna end this video actually. I'm heading to Kyoto tomorrow and I'll see you there. Peace.